You already know what it is. Uncle frickin' Clickbait in the building. I got 3 Carolina Queefers here. They're beautiful looking peppers. Look at this. Look at these bad boys. All right. So anyone that's been watching what we've been talking about with Carolina Reaper in the last couple of videos, Guinness Book World Record, World Hottest Pepper, the Long Reigning Champ. And I wanted to go over something. There was something that I did not mention in those videos. I'm surprised that I didn't. I have mentioned it in the past, and you can go back all the way to 2021 in my videos. And you can see, even go watch the Troy Primo interview. There's all kinds of proof of me saying this. There was this scenario. So people said for the longest time that the Reaper and the Primo are the same pepper. They're the exact same pepper. And I said, and I argued back then, and for the longest time, that they're not. However, after some people talking to me about different breeding, so I got some breakfast tacos here. I got some Mad Mash hot sauce. Mrs. Bullcow gets a jar. Little 5-ounce bottles do her no good. So I always said for the longest that they're not the same pepper, right? Look at that nice little stinger on there. And I said that because when I eat a Reaper, I get a little bit more floralness than I do from the Primo. Not much. The bitterness is the same, you know. Flavor's very similar, the look and everything else. Now, if you guys, so Tony commented that he's been eating these Reapers from South America or Mexico, but whatever, the same thing, basically. We're talking about under the border, all right? These south of the border Reapers being hotter than the American Reapers, and that's where the UC Reaper powder and all of these Reaper powders that are testing higher on a consistent basis, that's where they're coming from. Okay, so to go back to what I said in the beginning, I believe that the Reaper could have been the Primo at some point, but that it crossed, right? Maybe there was a Moruga Scorpion in there or something else at some point in time, okay? Oh, look at, you got to make sure the stinger's on there first, Uncle Bullcow. Good morning to you. Hot. Slight floral. That classic red Chinense flavor. Wow, that ought to wake me up this morning. Woo. So anyways, I always thought that it was a cross, right? And here's the thing. After really looking at the data, being around for a while, and seeing so many Reaper tests come back at 800,000, 900,000, 1 million, 1.1 million. But then you have these South American peppers testing higher. And they are consistent. And they are stable. So what happened, right? Was the Reaper the Primo? And it was just raised different. You know, and that's what makes it slightly different. Did Ed really create the Reaper? But whatever the case may be, is everybody in the pepper community will tell you, they all say it. Carolina Reaper isn't stable. By the way, I got a nice burn going right now. Whew. Perfect breakfast. So you hear all these different things, right? I've always thought that it could have possibly crossed. Listen. First Carolina Reaper I ever had was from the grocery store. It did not look like the Reapers that I see out there. They came from a farm, a commercial farm. And my wife got to eat them in a pepper competition. Ryan and Leella got to eat them in the pepper competition. After the competition, they had bags of peppers sitting there that were extras, in case they needed to use. And I asked the people throwing the event, I go, what are you going to do with those? They said, take them if you want them. And I took them. Now, they're in paper bags. But I looked at the one bag. I said, is this red habaneros? They said, no, that's Reapers. These things were shiny and smooth, right? They didn't have that bumpy, gnarly look to them, okay? Ryan said, no, man, those weren't Reapers, right? And he ate a bunch of them. So, how does this commercial farm, right? One of the biggest on the East Coast, how do they have something that's different, okay? How do we have Reaper that's testing higher in South America? Well, the most common, most popular pepper plant seedling that is sold in America as far as super hots, #1 seller, Carolina Reaper. Seeds, #1 seller, Carolina Reaper. Now, how many of these companies, how many of these people, how many Reapers are isolated? Think about that. There's only a few people in this country doing isolation. So the Carolina Reaper could have been the Primo at one point, and it just was raised different, came out a little bit different. Or many moons ago, there could have been an accidental cross. Think about it. Imagine if it was a Primo. Or who cares, even if Ed created it, right? And it crossed with a Moruga Scorpion. Moruga Scorpion is land race. Moruga Scorpion is more stable, right? Moruga Scorpion's got 2 million test results. Certified. Imagine if that happened, okay? And then those seed stock were to be something that were sent to and bought by and popularized in South America and Mexico, for that matter, right? And then here you have something that wasn't as stable, or they were really people, maybe some people tried to select for the stinger phenotype. Who knows? What are you going to come up with? 2 different peppers. They're going to taste very similar, okay? Because you got 7-pot. If it crossed a Moruga. I'm just using Moruga because the floralness, the Reaper floralness kind of just reminds me a little bit of Moruga. Not totally, because Moruga is definitely more floral. All right, so with that being said, we don't know, man. We don't know. I mean, Ed has a track record not that good when it comes to his stories and being truthful and claiming his sauce test at 2.4 million came out of his own mouth. Whatever. So we don't know. It's not like we have a trustworthy source, right? This is beautiful. Let's get some more. Cut them open and make sure they're valid inside. Oh yeah. But whatever the case may be, you know, I don't believe that the Reaper and the Primo are exactly the same pepper right now at this current time. I've never believed that. There's a slight difference. Now, I've had people say the Reaper's hotter. Had some people say the Primo's hotter. I will say this. I had Primo powder from Troy Primo. He handed it to me himself. All right? Put it right up there like a statue. Fresh pods and hot sauce on your breakfast. That's the only way to go. When I had Troy Primo's Primo powder, it was definitely hotter than any Reaper powder I've ever had. And I've had lots of Reaper powders coming out of the U.S. Now, I tried some of the hotter Reaper powder from South America. You see where I'm going with this? And it's neck and neck, you know, heat-wise with the Primo. Now, I still like the flavor of the Primo powder a little bit more, but that stuff is wicked hot, okay? So where is the fork in the road, and how did we get there? Some of us might not ever know. That's why when I talk about the world's hottest pepper, will we ever know which is the world's hottest pepper? You see what I'm saying? Now, growing conditions in South America, they may vary. I mean, that's where a lot of peppers come from, right? So you could throw that up in the mix as a, you know. But Mexico, I don't know. It matters which part it's grown in. I mean, Mexico, Texas have very similar, you know, growing conditions. I've had Reapers from all over, you know. Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, New York. I mean, I've had Reapers from all over the place. So, we don't truly know. But I did want to talk about that. I did want to kind of go over, you know, and I wanted to eat some Reapers with you. I wanted to kind of say that I think there was a cross someplace. And maybe, just maybe, the reason why these American Reapers are not hot, or they're hot, they're not as hot as the South American ones, is maybe the pepper is different. There had maybe a slight genetic difference in it, okay? Or maybe there was a stable, like they were able somehow, it's stable, right? It's more stable. It's going to keep those higher numbers. Because you go look on Blazing Foods website, and you're going to see you can get the UC Reaper powder. It tests 250,000 higher than the average Reaper powder. What do you think about that? Fresh Pods hot sauce. Get there.